What's up, y'all? I know it's been a little bit. Or the distance and the time from the last video, but I'm just gonna get you caught up what's been going on. Pretty much the car that I'm driving now, it broke down. It was a hose, I guess, a hose. So I went to the mechanic to see when they can fix the other car, the minivan, and it overheated when I pulled off. So they fixed it. It was a hose connected to something. And let me tell you, if you have a BMW, I don't know if you just seen that car just went straight through the red light. If you have a BMW, normally when I have issues, and I'm sure probably you do too. If you have any issues, you go on YouTube and you try to figure out what might be the issue. And the issues that was coming up was a lot of them. It could have been a water pump. It could have been the radiator being dirty. It could have been the radiator, the thermostat. So it was a lot of different issues that it could have been. But it turns out it was a hose that was connected to the radiator. It was a piece in between the whole, like a clamp type piece that connects from, I guess, your engine to your radiator, and they had to fix that. So long story short, I'm so glad it wasn't something that was super expensive. As you might know, if you have one, then everything is super expensive. So that's just something for you. If you have one and your car starts overheating, probably the first thing you should do is look for your hoses. Now, in the mechanic shop, it was another BMW, X5, I believe, one of the Jeeps or trucks or SUVs or whatever you call it. And they said that vehicle had the same issue, and that vehicle's hose, the issue with the hoses though, was on the bottom back of the engine. So, I mean, again, if you bump into that problem, because I started pricing out water pumps and radiators and stuff like that, and they're not cheap. So, first thing you should do is look for a hose. So anyway, so that night I left the mechanic, and I went a couple blocks down. When I first started the car, it wasn't sounding, normal. So by the time I went like around the corner, it was nighttime, and I started seeing like a little bit of smoke, so I wasn't sure if it was from like the tailpipe of the car that was in front of me, or if it was coming definitely from this vehicle here. And it was. By the time I went around the corner again, I started hearing it sizzling, and the thermostat light came on, and I ended up parking it or whatever. So that next morning, so they came and told it and whatever. And the next morning, I took the van out. I knew the van needed work, but what can you do if you got to get stuff done? So I took the van out, and that morning I was going to go where I was going, and I was 13 minutes away, and all I heard was a poof. And when it did that, it was a cloud of smoke in the back, a lot of smoke. It looked like it was like a smoke screen type thing, and started putting real bad. So I had to pull over. Long story short, is the engine went. So two vehicles down less than 24 hours, one that night and one that morning. So I've been scrambling around. We have a third vehicle, but that vehicle now, I guess the parts is the wrong parts, or I don't know. I'm not a mechanic, but So that's been that. Been trying to find a new location for the studio office or whatever. Real close to closing a deal with one, like super close. So, and that one's in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. I know it's like, as bad as I try to stay out of Pottsville, it's like it's something there that keeps calling me. That it's like, as bad as I want to leave the area, it's always something that kind of keeps me connected, I guess I should say. But it's a nice space. I'm going to keep it kind of super private, because not only we'll be doing like celebrity interviews and different interviews with different business people. Not only that, it's just everybody's not for me in that area. So, and I guess for most people, it is what it is. You start doing things by yourself or whatever. I'm not going to call it being successful, but it's just, I guess, being independent. When you start being independent and things of that nature, like, a lot of people are going to stop liking you. So it just is what it is. I don't know. That's pretty much everything that's kind of new. I want to say, someone commented on one of the videos I did about the Giant in Pottsville, and I guess they were saying that I had my information wrong. So I want to correct it if I am wrong. I didn't do research the first time, and I didn't do research the second time. But apparently, what they were trying to correct me on was, I guess it wasn't the city that's trying to put a pre-release center inside of the old Giants that's there. And if you didn't see that video, basically it was saying, basically that they're turning, where they're trying to, they shut down the Giants. Giants shut down their own store. I just want to make it clear. Giants closed their own store, Giants Food Market, and with someone, I don't know who. I don't know if it's the city. I don't know if it's the state. I don't know who, but someone is trying to turn that food store into a pre-release center. So that's basically what that other video was about. It was about me saying, instead of turning into a pre-release center, how about something else that's a little bit more fruitful, more fruitful for the community, instead of having, because people are starting to realize that if they hire pre-release, technically they're still inmates, technically, it's cheap labor. So they got a whiff, whoever got a whiff of that, and now it's starting to become a thing, that if you need work done for cheap, hire inmates that's on pre-release or whatever you call that, work release, pre-release. I guess it's the same thing. But hire them and instead of paying them an hourly rate, you pay them something per day, which a lot of that goes towards or is taken from the inmate to go towards like any funds or anything like that they have, with the promise that, or I shouldn't say a promise, but with I can't think of the word right now, but it's basically telling inmates basically if you work for me right now, then it might lead to a job later, which obviously is not the whole truth, because they're looking for the cheapest labor possible. So unless you go back to jail, they're probably not going to hire you. The odds of them hiring you is less, because once you get released from whatever program that you're in, you're not that cheap anymore, which that's the whole idea, is to have it as cheap as possible for labor. It's all about, that's what it's all about, cutting costs in business. So I don't know. I mean, that's been pretty much it. Nothing else. Once we do find a location, we're going to start with the t-shirts, customizing t-shirts, some more stuff that I'm not going to mention right now until we definitely secure locations. I might actually have another one. I don't think it's at the point where I should say where right now. But it's one that's in another town. I'm looking at other ones in other towns. So wish me luck. Pray for me. Send the universe some good vibes for me. And hopefully, we can get stuff done, because it's not about me, it's about you. It's about me having a place where I can help you some kind of way, where I can help you help yourself, I should say. That's what it's all about. It's all about, I try to entrepreneurship, especially with women. I love to see women be successful at things. I grew up in an era, and I say all the time, I'm blessed to grow up in a time where everything was constantly changing and evolving into new beginnings. But when I was younger, I kind of grew up in an era where women they had rights, but they were just, like, for my grandmother, for an example, like, she grew up in an era where women didn't have rights like that. Blacks in general just started getting rights. So your Jim Crow, your 60s, and things of that nature. So it was a process. Blacks started getting rights, and then as a whole, I could be wrong. It could be backwards. It could be women got their rights first, and then blacks got their rights. But regardless, I'm from that time where I was very young, but my family was from that time where rights wasn't for everyone, and I guess we're still living in that time, I should say, too, because we have a lot more than what we started out with, because we started out not even being a human, and now it's to the point where some people debate, because they feel like we have the same rights that they have, and they don't see the difference. They don't see the difference, or don't understand the difference, because some people just believe, like, because some of us are successful or whatever, that we share the same rights and the same values as everyone. And even though we watch the news every day, or hear stories every day about how that theory isn't necessarily true, a lot of times it goes backwards into what maybe the person might have done in order to receive the treatment that they receive. So thank God that for whoever invented the camera phones, they definitely been a staple in our culture nowadays. So just like I'm doing this video now from a camera phone, I can get stuff out, even though I'm commuting to where I'm going. So that's about it. Again, I hope everyone is safe. Don't forget to like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, Nightlife Plug Digital Magazine or Radio Magazine. It'll lead you to the same place. Sometimes on some phones, want to lead you to the other. So if you're using your Apple, for an example, when you type it up, it might not direct you, or try the other one. All right, but that's it for right now. Peace and blessings.